Hello, everybody. I hope you are doing well today. It is Wednesday. Where is that button? There is that button. Hi. I hope you guys are doing well today. Oh, wow. Um, I would love to hear what I am a little early today. I can't really get a handle on myself. Shit. I might have burnt the button. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, we are going to be watching some TPOs today as well as some child support hearings. We're going to start with the TPOs. They are, well, it's a TPO, but it's a little confusing. Uh, it is Judge Dude, as usual. I did not get sun. I just have a badly um, blended blush situation going on. That's really the issue that's happening today. Um, and my lighting is just not working for me today. So, anyways, let us get to Judge Dude. This is a bit of a long one, and we will see. I don't know. I think I got most of it. Oh, Laura. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Love and hugs to you too. You guys are great. Oh, Laura, seriously, thank you so much. Um, it'll be popping up here momentarily. If you guys let me know what you had for dinner, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Laura. Um, let me know what you've had for dinner tonight, or if you didn't like what you had for dinner, let me know what you wish you had. We're gonna get going with this TPO hearing. Judge Dude, they had some technical difficulties today, and so um, we have to forgive him a little bit. Anyways, let us get going on this and see how we do. Courtney, that sounds yummy. Sauteed broccoli and shrooms with rice. Is that a belly? Are we seeing belly in court right now?
All right. Have we all made it back? We can just turn cameras on. We'll make sure. There we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are going to continue to move through the cases.
And before anybody complains, this is all I got of this. I got this part and the finale or the ruling. But what it looks like is that there are everybody trying to get everybody a TPO against everybody. So that's what's happening here. I think we missed a tiny bit of the first part of the hearing, but that we're continuing on and we do have an ending to this one. So let's continue. And yes, I believe that was midriff, but we've zipped up now.
That we have. So I'm going to turn next to Miss Jalen Bennett and hear from her. And then from there, we will hear from, I don't believe she had any witnesses attached to her case. And so I think we'll be able to hear from her, and then we'll turn to the remaining parties as we go. So,
I'm sorry. My witness, his phone was broken, but he did come where I'm at now. He's here with me.
Okay. He should not be, if they intend to testify as a witness, they should not be in the room to hear testimony of other witnesses, including the parties of the case. So they can be in the structure with you, so to speak, but you need to station them somewhere that they are out of earshot of the proceedings. The equivalent, if we were in person, all witnesses wait in the hall and then we bring them in one by one. And that's
Okay, he's leaving the room now.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a hearing one time where somebody was in the room off camera. I didn't know it. And then when it came time for her to testify, her testimony was, oh, everything she said. That was literally it. Like, that's not helpful.
Also, there will be naked lady party mentioned during this TPO hearing. I am just pre-warning y'all. There is accusations, as Mikey would say, accusations of naked hanky-panky time happening. So, just so you know.
Supposed to hear your story as you experienced it.
Okay.
So, all right. Thank you for letting me know that, by the way. And I do see that we have at least one witness in the waiting room, so we'll check on that when we come time to it. They may actually be with Miss Bennett. So, Miss Bennett, I'm sending you a prompt to unmute if you would, please. Can I have you raise your right hand? Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. All right, Miss Bennett, you are Miss Bertina Russell's daughter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you have lived with, at various times, including but not limited to right now, Miss Sharanda Russell and Miss Antoinette and Leah Miller. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. I guess I'll start. We heard some testimony, and you heard it as well from your mother about the incidents around March 15th. What can you tell us about what you experienced, saw, and heard that night?
Other than the things that she said.
This is the one situation where there's nothing wrong with overlap. I want to hear you kind of walk me through. You may have been there for some of it, but not other parts of it. So I want to know what you were around to see and hear of that, and what you took in as this played out.
Yeah, so I was in my room, and my room is right above the garage where my mom was at that night. And so I heard Shay come in because she slammed all the doors on the way to the garage, and I heard them yell, and my phone was having issues that night. So I was trying to fix my phone in my room, and they were arguing downstairs, and I heard all of it, just about where she was and what was going on with Ray J and everything. And she called my name. And so I knew at that point it wasn't just a regular argument. She needed assistance or needed me to be there or whatever. And so she was like, go get Aaliyah. So I went into Aaliyah's room and I told her she was sleeping. And I told her that my mom was calling her and that they were having a fight, basically. And she got up, she came in there with me. And Shay was asking me, where did Ray J say that I was? And I was like, I really don't remember what he said. And I saw laundry on the way to going to Leah's room. So I was like, did you go do laundry or something? She's like, exactly. That's exactly what I said. And it migrated from the garage to the dining room, living room area. And my mom was like, if you think I'm lying, just ask Ray J. And he was like, yeah, I was waiting on his grandmother to bring me McDonald's.
And who is that?
The minor child that she has custody of.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And how old are they?
I believe he's 8 or 9.
Okay, so elementary school age.
You're right.
Got it. Okay, carry on.
So it was really lighthearted. He just really wanted McDonald's that night. It was something like simple. And because we went to go talk to him and he confirmed that he just wanted McDonald's that night, we were just looking like, oh, so there's no need to continue arguing because it was understood that he was the kid that wanted McDonald's, basically. And it didn't go there. Shay was still mad about it. And my mom was just like, I'm not going to argue with you. And he just said he wanted McDonald's. So she left and she locked the room to her office that was broken by Antoinette that night. But that was like before then in March or before then maybe. And she locked the door, and to be able to go into my room, I have to go through the office door that was broken. So I had to go around the house to the garage to get in to get into the garage to go back into my room. And soon after that, we were just kind of like, that was unnecessary and unneeded. Me and my mom just kind of talked about it. And she was like, yeah, it's just very draining. And Aaliyah came in there and we talked about it with Aaliyah. And she was like, yeah, that was a lot. And Aaliyah was like, just anytime they fight, just don't call me in it. I don't want to be in between that anymore. I'm over it. And from that night on, it was just very weird in the house. Like the energy was weird in the house. I did end up getting a text from Shay a few weeks later after that and apologizing for her actions and just saying that it shouldn't have been done in front of me and Aaliyah and the child, and that they should handle it personally without the kids being involved and not in front of the kids. Because even though we're 21 and over, she still didn't want to do it in front of us and have to hear everything that happened and see everything that happened.
So, and I'll break this down into separate pieces. First, I'm going to ask you what you saw, and then second, if there were other things you heard but didn't see. So what did you actually see Miss Sharanda Russell do?
When I came downstairs, I heard my mom, before I even went down there, I heard my mom say, "Did you just hit me?" And she said, yeah, I did. And she was like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah." And my mom goes, "All right." And she's like, Shay was like, "So who you calling? Now you want to call people now?" And she was like, "Shay, just stop." And my mom was like, "Give me my phone back." And she was like, "No, because who you calling?" And that's when she told me to go get Aaliyah. And after that conversation, from me being upstairs and her yelling upstairs to me, I went to go get Aaliyah and I walked in and they were just arguing back and forth and walking around. And my mom just tried to stay like away from her. And that's when my mom stormed off and went into the living room where Ray J was and he was eating McDonald's.
All right. All right, let me think if I think that covers the questions that I have. So I'll turn to Miss Antoinette Miller. And did you have any questions for this witness at this time?
No, I wasn't there for that altercation.
All right. And Miss Aaliyah Miller, did you have any questions for Miss Bennett?
Yes, when you say that you came in my room and woke me up, when you came in my room to wake me up, I don't remember her saying anybody swung on nobody, whatever. Long story short, the only question I have for her is when you came to get me from my room and when telling me that they arguing and stuff, where was JJ? JJ was not present. The child was not present. He was not present. We made JJ go to
hang
bed.
on. See, we're back in statement land. So let's turn this around. Where was the minor child when you went to talk to Miss Aaliyah Miller?
At the dinner table.
And approximately what time do you think this was?
At 11. It was late at night.
Okay. So that's her answer. Miss Miller, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Miss Sharanda Russell, did you have any questions for Miss Bennett?
I do not.
All right. Thank you. All right. Hang on just one moment. All right. And Miss Bennett, has there been anything since this incident in mid-March that you've witnessed in terms of violence, threats of violence, property damage, et cetera?
Other than the door incident, yeah, I was there for that as well.
Okay, what did you see during the incident with the door?
I was in my room again, and then I came downstairs. I heard that they were arguing, and there was multiple people arguing. And when I came downstairs, they were just all in my mother's office yelling at her. And after I came downstairs, I was just looking at them, trying to figure out what was happening. And it was just a whole bunch of arguing. They were just nagging at us. And now because I was downstairs, they were getting on me about things, telling me how they're going to tell my brother, and how I'm not honest with my family, and just going on and on trying to entice us. And I called Nikki, the one that previously was in here to testify. And I was just telling her that there was something going on and I didn't really know what to do. And that's how she ended up coming out that day to talk to Shay, because she just wanted to feel like there should be a conversation and that would end everything. And so I just waited for her to come. And while my mom was going back and forth between the office and out there, that's when her and Antoinette got into the battle between the door and who can go out into the living room and then who needs to stay in the office, basically.
All right. So were you there when the door actually broke?
Yes, I was standing right behind my mother when the glass broke and she fell through it and had a whole bunch of cuts and everything.
So what was going on that caused the glass to break?
Antoinette was on the other side of the door trying to push my mother inside the room, and my mom was trying to get outside the room and go back into the living room. And that tussle between my mom trying to enter the rest of the house and Antoinette trying to keep my mother in a specific part of the house is when the glass door broke.
All right. All right, Miss Bennett, and I think you had somebody who was logged in as a witness for you. Is that correct?
I do, and that was for the TPO that Antoinette had against me.
Okay, and we'll hold their testimony since I haven't heard from Miss Miller yet. All right. I'm filling up the space that I have for notes. I'm going to be getting extra paper soon. So I think where we're going to turn next.
Your Honor,
Ms. Russell, yes.
I do have a question for Miss Bennett.
Okay.
Did you see or hear Sharanda shooting the gun that night that the incident happened in March?
I did.
And from where do you think you heard gunshots from?
It was from the front porch, and I was standing right by my mother's office in the window where you can see the front porch.
Okay. Were you able to see firing?
I saw the shadow of it because my back was facing it, but I did see her figure in the light.
Okay, so you knew she was on the porch and the sound was coming from the porch.
Yes, because she was also yelling from the porch as well.
Okay. Do you know about how many shots you heard?
I heard 3.
Okay. All right. Anything else for Miss Bennett, Miss Russell?
No, but there is another witness in the waiting room that Sharanda had a conversation with about the shooting.
Okay. Do you have a name or some guidance on what to look for?
It's a man. His name is Jordan. It's my son.
Okay. That I can work with. All right. Unfortunately, all we see is the device ID until we bring them in the room, and we do have a few others in the waiting room. So, all right, Mr. Russell, if you're able to, I think now you'll be able to hear me, Mr. Russell. Is that correct?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very good. Can I have you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You can put your hand down if you'd like. You have not been present for any violence or acts of violence that have gone on involving any of these parties. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Have you had conversations discussing allegations of those types of behavior with any of the parties?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that.
So I initially was informed of all of this stuff from Sharanda. She reached out to me on an unrelated matter because my son and her grandson play games. And she didn't have my son's number to his phone and reached out. I was unaware that my son and her grandson wasn't talking. And then that's when she called me to kind of fill me in on everything that has been going on with her and my mother, Tina Russell. and what happened and all of those different things. And she informed me of the entire situation and what caused their relationship to kind of break down. And then a few weeks or maybe a week or two after that call, I received a text and call from my sister, Jalen, showing me the cuts on my mom's body from the glass breaking after the first incident. And then those were the two conversations that I've had in regards to the violence that has taken place. One from Sharanda and one from Jalen.
All right, so I want to focus in on the conversation that you had with Miss Sharanda Russell. What statements did she make to you?
She basically informed me how her and my mom were getting a divorce and like she was over it. And the incident that they had one night to where she received a call from Ray J, because he was up and he was hungry. And apparently my mom told Ray J to call her to get some food. And Sharanda basically said, you know, it set her off. She was mad because she doesn't play about the kids. And it's like any other time, like it's always been, you know, the kids need to go to bed at this time. They need to be here having type of structure. So she felt that my mom purposely left him hungry or him up at night to wait for her intentionally. And so when she came home, they got into an argument. She acknowledged that she put my hands on my mother. She said, I did hit her. I was wrong for that. She began to give me history of, you know, things that have happened in the past. It wasn't the first time she's hit her. And like basically she was like, you know, you're supposed to love me, but you should know what my triggers are, what sets me off. And it's like she just constantly does things that set her off. And she basically, you know, she was apologetic and told me that, you know, she shouldn't have put her hands on her, shouldn't have got that far. And that, you know, at this point she has to make, you know, decisions that's in the best interest of her. And you know, she's tired of not putting herself first and things like that. She admitted to shooting the gun after she was upset with the whole situation. She got the gun and went outside to let off steam. She said that, you know, that's how she copes with things. She goes to therapy, like that's therapy for her, not go to therapy, but that's therapeutic for her. She goes out, go to the range, like she just likes to shoot. So she did say that she went outside shooting the gun. And from there, she was just basically telling me how she just needed to, you know, do what was best for her. And she was just tired. And, you know, she talked about things with her son and the baby and just different instances she was giving me examples of how their relationship kind of broke down and things that my mom may have done that, you know, she didn't feel sat right with her.
All right. Ms. Bertina Russell, any questions for Mr. Jordan Russell about his testimony that we have not covered yet?
No.
All right. Miss Antoinette Miller, any questions for this witness? I know this didn't really pertain to your part of the case.
It don't, but no, I don't have any questions.
All right, I'm going to try to ask every time, anyway, just in case there's something I don't know that I don't know yet. So, thank you. And Miss Bennett, any questions for this witness?
No.
All right, Miss Aaliyah Miller, any questions for this witness?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
All right, Miss Sharanda Russell, any questions for this witness? All right, I see you shaking your head no. Thank you, Mr. Russell. You have concluded your business with the court for today, so we're going to place you back in the waiting room, but you're free to log off and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Miss Bertina Russell, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Let's see. I believe next that will take us to figure out how to break these down in the most logical order.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I will hear from Miss Antoinette. No.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I will hear from Miss Antoinette Miller, and then Miss Sharanda Russell, Miss Aaliyah Miller, and then each of those three, if any of you have any witnesses at that point, and then I'll hear from Miss Bennett's witness after we go through that. So, Miss Miller, can I have you raise your right hand for me, please?
Mhm.
Do you swear? Or actually, I already swore the
Oh, am
parties.
I saying?
So you're all good. Sometimes we
Okay.
do it twice. All right. So you are under oath, and this will be your opportunity to give your testimony about any or all of the matters that we've heard discussed today. If you have witnesses you intend to call after your question by the other parties, you'll have the opportunity to call those witnesses and have them testify as well. So what would you like to tell us today?
I do want to, read out a statement I wrote, if you don't mind.
Well, we just need to have you kind of testify. So it's good that you've written it down. That'll help you kind of
Summarize.
know it and have your notes, but we can't have people read statements, unfortunately. So, but you can go ahead and tell us what you remember and what you experienced.
Basically, I remember Pratina attacked me. I wasn't like barricading her way to go nowhere. I was going upstairs because my nephew was upstairs and he was actually asleep upstairs, the 9-year-old that everybody been referring to. So he was asleep upstairs and she's just downstairs yelling, get out, get out, get out and everything. So I'm walking through the door frame with my dog in my hand. So I don't know how can I block somebody, but she grabbed me by my neck and choke slammed me to the ground in front of the police. That's actually why she got arrested. Leaving after that, my apologies. I didn't break the door. I was trying to diffuse a situation because everybody was just going crazy, yelling. So I closed the door. She comes back and pushes her shoulder up against the door, like going, keep on doing this. So she kept on doing that. Her shoulder actually broke that door. I didn't break that door. Yeah. They were just holding the door together. That caused the glass to collapse. And I got like cuts and bruises on my body from her even body slamming me to the cuts from the door. I submitted that for the courts. I never attacked her.
Did somebody just say today is Judge Manning's birthday? That's insane. Also, hello, Credence and Mikey. Hi. You guys had some amazing cases today. If you guys are not already subbed to Credence and Mikey, I don't know what you're doing. They are the OGs of the court watching people. And that's amazing. It's Judge Manning's birthday. Oh my gosh. It's Judge Manning's birthday today. Oh, can somebody mark this on the calendar so next year we can have like a really big celebration ahead of time? That's what we need to do. Seriously. Oh, okay. Let's continue.
Her or Jalen in any way or wasn't being belligerent. She like is very aggressive towards me and my family since this divorce was filed. Me and my dog and my boyfriend moved back to the house 3 to 4 months ago, but my boyfriend wasn't really there as much as I was. I would be there more than he would be there. And my car wouldn't even be there. So it would just be me and sometimes me and my dog. So yeah, Miss Russell didn't like that. It caused her to verbally threaten me and my boyfriend and my dog. And she called the police to fabricate stories saying that I was coming over in the middle of the night, kicking doors and trying to break the new door she installed. That was a lie.
What kind of dog do you guys think she has? What kind of dog? She's mentioned the dog the same amount of times she's mentioned her boyfriend. Also, happy birthday to Melissa's daughter. She lives in the future. It's the 25th there.
She really just choke slammed me. That's really why I'm trying to seek this order against her, to be honest.
So for this I guess the easiest way for me to ask this is in 2023, what are the time periods that you were residing at the home, on Portillo?
February, like late February, until just recently when I had to get out.
Okay. And so at the point that you came in, was it already your understanding that I guess a divorce was in the works?
Yeah, I understood that they were going through stuff, but Pertina was already on one side of the house and my mother was too. And even at times, Pertina would be gone for like weeks on that time.
The judge was creed framed.
Yeah, and I haven't been back to that property since our last court date. And when I went back and stuff, nobody was there. But Pertina did physically damage my school laptop. That's broken. Me and my boyfriend seen her damage that. My
And
doorbell.
when about that? Are you saying that happened?
That happened on the 11th of May.
Okay, so you were both there on the 11th?
Yes.
Okay.
Cause she showed up. I was there that morning and I had left, to go like do a few errands and stuff and come back. But I had my camera set up, the doorbell camera. It was a camera in the office. I had a tablet that displayed the camera as well. All three of those are gone. I don't know where they are. It's just she just taking stuff down, and you can see on video of her taking my camera down and putting it in her pocket, and you could just hear it just still going on, shuffling around in her pocket and stuff. I'm just like, this is just crazy. So I can't even do my schoolwork or anything because my laptop is damaged because of her as well. So it's just a lot.
What was actually done to cause the damage?
You said what, sir?
What was actually done to cause the damage? Like, in what way was it damaged?
I believe it was thrown physically to the ground, like she just slammed it to the ground, like just.
Okay, and where were you when it happened?
I was standing on the outside of the door.
Okay.
Like the door frame.
All right. So we're gonna kind of go in turn here. Miss Bennett, do you have any questions that you wish to ask Miss Miller right now?
No, I do not.
All right. Miss Aaliyah Miller, any questions for Miss Antoinette Miller?
No, sir.
Miss Sharanda Russell, any questions for Miss Antoinette Miller?
No, I do not.
Thank you. All right, Miss Pertina Russell, do you have questions for this witness?
I do, Your Honor.
All right.
You say you moved back to the property in February. When in February did you move back to the property?
It was about the end of February going on to the next month. I'll be in and out. I didn't physically move all of my belongings in. I'm there moving in. I moved in about the end of February.
And where were you sleeping?
I would sleep on your living room couch or in Aaliyah's room, or sometimes with JJ.
Your Honor, I have proof to show that she was not living there. I can show that. But and another question, you said that you have video footage of me damaging your property?
I have video damage of you taking my video, my doorbell cameras and everything, and me and my boyfriend physically seeing you damage my laptop.
And we were in the home together on May 11th when that took place?
Yep, that's when you locked me out. That's how I got this cut on my hand and everything.
When the police was here?
The police wasn't there. They actually left the house.
Your Honor, we were never in the same household.
This is your chance to question her.
Right,
So,
right.
As I explained earlier, often people don't get the answer they want or believe is
True.
correct. But for now, it's the answer, and we move on. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Did you install the camera without permission onto my home?
No, I did not install it without permission onto your home. I
So
installed it.
how did the doorbell camera get there?
My mother gave me permission to install the cameras.
Did you cut the camera wires that were already installed?
I didn't touch your doorbell camera. Your doorbell camera was already ripped out the wall before I even put that camera up.
That's all the questions, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Miller, did you have any other, you said you had a witness in the other room who you intended to testify, correct?
Yes, I did. He's in the other room.
All right, we can, you can bring them in, and we may have you, if you rotate your phone 90 degrees, does it flip your camera?
Okay, hold on one
Sideways?
second.
Like,
Oh, I'm in.
Instead of this, just give it that.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant my room.
I was just gonna, yeah, so there you go. I think that changed it. So you can.
I think it's rotated.
Now you're standing on the wall. So I was gonna see if sometimes it's just a little easier to fit the two of you in frame together if it goes that way. Because I don't necessarily need for you to be I definitely don't want you out of the room, and I don't necessarily need you to be off camera. So to the extent the two of you can kind of sidle up next to each other, maybe that works.
Okay.
All right. Good almost afternoon to you, sir. Can I have you raise your right hand for me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear any statements you make will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name for the record, please, and you can put your hand down if you like.
Yes, sir. My name is Dickinson Guillaume.
All right. Can you spell your first name for me?
Yes, it's spelled N as in Nancy, I as in India, C as in Carter, K as in everlasting. I mean K as in Kate. I'm sorry. E as in everlasting, N as in Nancy, S as in Sarah, O as in octopus, and N as in Nancy. That's my first name.
Mm-hmm.
My last name is spelled G.
Okay, Nickerson, we have some problems. Nickerson. Oh my God, what is the children's rhyme? Nick knock, knicker knock, nick knock, knicker knock. I don't know. You used ridiculous words for your letters there, bud. Like O is in octopus, E is in everlasting. And you got that wrong. You were so excited to use it. You preempted Nickerson. Nickinson? Is it Nickinson? It's not even Nickerson? Is Nickinson? Oh my gosh. That poor but he's been spelling that name his whole damn life. Nickinson.
As in golf, U as in universe, I as in India, L as in Lima, A as in apple, and U as in universe, M as in Matt, and E as in everlasting.
Got it. Thank you for that. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Have you witnessed, so we're here today considering a number of protective order petitions. Have you witnessed, and that means either seen or overheard parts of any incidents where there has been violence, threats of violence, or property damage involving any of these parties?
Yes, sir, on several occasions.
Okay, well, tell me what you've observed most recently.
Well, most recently was on the day of, I don't know if I should start when Miss Bettina Russell, choke slam Miss Antoinette Miller, or it's been several instances, but on the night where they came with the temporary order for Miss Sharenda Russell, I was asleep in the office room that when we move into the residence that we all agreed would be, outside of the house. While I was asleep, I heard, commotions coming from the living room area. I heard Miss Bettina Russell talking to my miniature poodle, saying to him, "Get out."
Oh, we get to find out what kind of dog it was. Miniature poodle. I thought he was going to say a miniature pug. No, a miniature poodle. Oh, that sounds annoying. No offense. But would you call that a moodle? Or a mini? A meep or a moodle?
Get out of my house. So that prompted me to get up and go see what's going on. So, as I make my way into the living room and she notices me, I'm sorry for my language, Your Honor. I'm going to quote exactly what she said.
You swore to tell the truth, sir, so I'm going to need you to say it exactly as it was.
Yes, it's just, very strong language. And she say, oh, yeah, you nigga, get out of my house. You too, nigga, get out of my house. At that point, I just step aside, because I know she was mad and I saw the DeKalb police officer was at the doorway. So I just step off to the side and Miss Antoinette Miller came and picked up our puppy. And from then she went to try to proceed to go up the steps where their nephew, JJ was asleep. That's when I witnessed, out of nowhere, Miss Bertina Russell rushed, over there and grabbed her by her neck area. And from then on, and proceeded to slam her in the ground real violently, in front of the officers that was there. And then from then, she proceeded to got up and try to proceed up the steps, and then from there, she was placed under arrest. On that day, that's what I witnessed. And after she went to jail, I don't know what happened, but she came back to the property on the day where me and Antoinette Miller was away. And, on the ring camera, you could see, at first you see the DeKalb police officer came at the door and rang the doorbell. She interacted with, Antoinette Miller, and, Antoinette Miller advised her that, she was on the way back there because at the time she was under the belief that, bond's conditions said that, Miss Bertina Russell was not supposed to be at the property. That was, her understanding. So she was trying to get back to the residence to speak to the officers. But, for some reason, the officers just left. And from there, I seen, on the ring camera, I observed video of, Miss Bertina Russell taking the camera off and saying, yeah, they put that camera there, and took the camera off, and it sounded like she was destroying it and putting it in her pocket. And from there, the video stopped, and we got to the residence. When we got to the residence, she was very aggressive towards us when, Antoinette Miller tried to make interest back into the residence. She was like, I would advise y'all not to do that, as if threatened she had a gun or some type of a weapon she had planned on using. She kept saying that, I would advise y'all not to do that. So Miss Antoinette Miller went to the back way of the office of, the part of the area of the house that we agreed would be our area. She tried to go over there. Miss Russell, Bertina Russell, ran into that area, and, she had her camera phone pointing at us and grabbing the door, keeping Miss Antoinette Miller from, making entrance into the residence. And I observed, Miss Antoinette Miller sustained an injury from, tussling with the door with Miss Bertina Russell. And from there, I seen her, went on to, like she tossing several items of ours around in the house. And one of those items that I seen her, toss was, Miss Antoinette Miller, school provided laptop, from there. And, it was just a bunch of things. And she called several people to the residence. They came and they was threatening, making threats against us. And, one of them was a guy, and I think his name was, she referred to him as Avery. He even went as far as to tell Antoinette Miller, oh, if you don't stop doing all this police shit, I will light your ass up. And, Miss Bertina Russell was encouraging all of these behaviors. She was not trying to stop her parties from doing these things. I observed those guys throwing away groceries, that we bought and provided in the house. It's just a lot of things happening at that residence.
All right. And so what's your connection to Miss Antoinette Miller?
That's my girlfriend.
Okay. And you never resided at the house. You have your own residence, correct?
I resided with Miss Antoinette Miller because, before, we had lived in Macon. She had lived, at the residence in question, but she had moved with me to Macon. But since the divorce proceeding had started, it was a lot of things, around the house that, you know, her family needed help with, and she came to try to help to cover those. And I was there with her, but, you know, as mentioned, I would, you know, be working a lot. So it would be very, like, little time I would be at the residence.
So what happened to the place that you two shared in Macon?
We, you know, decided that we was gonna relocate to Atlanta to move back.
So did the
So
lease
we-
run out?
Yeah, we just let the lease go and we decided to relocate back to Atlanta. And, you know, in the midst, we know, well, you know, that Miss Sharenda Russell, she was going through a lot. And she also had the nephew, you know, the minor in question that needed, you know, another adult to, you know, help him, you know, be supervised and, you know, get through the things that he can't do himself. So that's where we came into play at.
So where have you been staying, let's say, for the last week? Where are y'all?
Yeah, we've been staying in hotels, Your Honor.
Okay. So, and when did your lease run out in Macon?
It ran out, I think we had it up until, it ran out, was it like February? Like, it was early.
Close in time to when you started mostly being here.
Mostly being in the residence in question.
Right. So you
was
came
like-
to Atlanta close in time to when your lease was running out anyway.
Right, like in mid-February, we came down here. I can't, you know, recall the specific date. It was like mid-February to like the ending of that month.
Okay. All right. I think that's all the questions I have for this witness. And everybody's screens have been jumbled around on me. Miss Jalen Bennett, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
All right. What is that?
Is there a lease that you signed to move back in? And was there anybody specific who gave you permission to move into the home?
Yes, Miss Sharenda Russell, as I mentioned.
Okay. And also, you stated that you moved in February, correct?
Yes, mid to ending of that month.
Okay. I'm not sure if my next question is going to be okay, Your Honor, but
Take a swing.
I'm not sure what the was. Okay.
We'll find out.
I know reading my TPO papers that there is Macon on the TPO when it was
That's
submitted to
for
me.
address you guys aren't so that you like.
If that's not paper, let me ask this. Is this paperwork that this gentleman filled out?
No.
Oh, okay. Then he's not the right one to ask. So we can move
Okay.
past that. Did you have other questions?
No, those are my only questions.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Ms. Sharenda Russell, just because I see you next, do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Russell. And Ms. Aaliyah Miller, did you have any questions for this witness?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Bertina Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
All right.
You stated that Antoinette obtained a cut or something from tussling with the door with me. What door would that be?
This case is really confusing because normally you can go along with the number is the day's case, then petitioner is P, respondent is R. And then if there's a W, it usually means a witness. But what's happened in this case is that all of these people have filed petitions against each other. There are so many cross petitions and petitions on the screen right now that's why they had to do this in a special setting, no less. There's no attorneys, however. Everybody on the screen here is self-represented, including me. Tommy V in MI. He is finishing a video for tomorrow. You guys got to make sure to sub to him and to Credence and Mikey and to That Is the Way I See It. Of course, time served. Looking at legal stuff. You know who they are. But we'll continue on. It is very confusing. It gets more confusing. I apologize. You'll see.
As I mentioned, it was the office door, the back office door.
Was the screen door locked?
No, it wasn't. You pulled it. as she was trying to pull to gain access, you pulled it, and she sustained the cut as you pulled and closed and locked that door.
He wasn't talking about.
Your Honor, I can get another witness to come that was actually present, that can prove this is a lie.
Your cases have conflicts between a testimony. You can't get another witness. You ask a question, you get an answer. We move on. You've given testimony that contradicted his. He will give testimony at times that contradicts yours, and at times will align with yours.
Understood.
All right. What other questions?
I do have another question.
All right.
How could you have seen what was going on inside the home if the blinds were closed?
The blind was not closed because in that area, the blind was clearly open and we could see directly inside that office room. And that's why I seen you damaging the properties. And that's why I seen you tossing her school laptops and so forth.
So you were outside looking through the open blinds into the home as your testimony?
Yes, sir. As I was as that's at the point where she was trying to gain entry back into, the office area that, is the office area is in the room, the master room, so that's the area that, Ms. Sharenda Russell had, instructed us to be at. So it was in that area where, she was trying to keep us from gaining entry, and I seen her causing the damages to the properties. Yes, that's my testimony, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Right.
I've submitted evidence that proves this testimony false. There is video and pictures of both of them.
Ms. Russell, I think when you lean in like that is when your audio cuts out.
Sorry.
I don't know what that would be, but that's the second time that I've caught it, and that's been the common link both times. And both times, as soon as you went back in the chair, it came back perfect.
Okay. I was stating that I've submitted evidence that contradicts this witness's testimony. There are videos and pictures both showing them pulling on the locked screen door, as well as videos and pictures showing you that all blinds in the home was closed. So his testimony is false, and there's evidence that was submitted to the court to prove that.
Your Honor.
We can review if we need to, but I think for now, that's all the questions that we have for this witness. That'll be part of rebuttal testimony if I require it at the end of the hearing. Sir, I think that out of the other four parties on the case, and I guess Ms. Miller, I didn't specifically ask you if you had any questions for him. Did you, Ms. Antoinette Miller?
No, that was everything.
Okay. So having checked with all parties, sir, I think that concludes your testimony and cross-examination from everybody. And so I guess you're sharing the device. You don't need to log off, but you're free to go wherever else you'd like to go with the rest of your day.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
That's a great to go like.
All right.
That you've done that. I'm going to pull up the second half of this TPO as you guys do that, please and thank you.
Let me take a brief pause to try and check on a couple of loose ends here. It's possible that we will be taking our lunch break fairly soon. I'm going to try to get some guidance on that, and then I'll come back probably in about 5 minutes, and I'll be able to let everybody know what our plan will be moving forward. We may take up another party or two. We may go ahead and take that break, but I should be able to let you know momentarily.
Yes, Judge, we're almost ready. You're too fast for me, Judge. One moment, please. Okay, just coming right up. This one, I have to slow down the beginning. So just bear with me. Also, I think Judge had to like change spots or something, because he appears now from a different location. We will see. Oh my God. Is there a live chase? You guys, get over to Credence and Mikey right now and pull up the live chase. That's crazy. Is that what's happening? And that just popped up on my phone. I'm a sucker for a live chase.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for your patience. Unfortunately, when I had to shift to a different location, I encountered a number of technical difficulties at my new spot.
I gotta slow him down. I gotta slow him down. If y'all didn't already just, as I told you all to leave the chat, that's okay.
Time at which I was able to get us started this afternoon. So it looks like, let's see, I think we're missing Miss Antoinette Miller. I think is our only party who's currently missing.
Yeah, let me see if this young user is her. Hello, it says Zoom user. Okay, yeah, that's her. Okay.
All right. So we are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Miller, I was just mentioning to the others, I had some technical difficulties that I had to sort out. And I'm actually on my third device at this point. So we're gonna trust
Your third device audio sucks, Judge. Just saying.
that one to get us through the rest of the day. The setup with the camera and the microphone is a little weird, and so as I'm doing right now, I'm not looking at you. On my screen, I'm looking at you. It's the best I can do. I can either not look at you, I can look like I'm looking at you, but I can't do both. So I will try to do some of both. But we're going to move through, continue to move through the hearings. I'll mostly be hearing from the parties, and then if there are other witnesses that need to be called, then we will sort that out. I believe where we left off, we were going to pick up with testimony from Miss Sharanda Russell. So, Miss Russell, if you can unmute for us, you have already been sworn in, and so you can begin once you're unmuted.
In regards to the TPO order, from what is stated, I have not had any violence, anything put on me. Our family vacation, that was stated in Florida in 2001. Yes, we did have our first argument down there in Florida. The police were not called. There were no guns or nothing. We both were at it. Girl cat fight, as you may call it. Where we did end up separating for that month of January. In that time that we separated, I did obtain an apartment. I moved out of the home. We were in talks around the beginning of February, where we did reconcile. I moved back into the home, giving Aaliyah Miller my apartment. Jalen Bennett was not in the home. She was in London. The only ones that were in the home was Jeray Smith, the 9-year-old, myself, and Pratina Russell, during the 2001 incident, where we, like I said, got into our first altercation. We got together in 2014, where we started our relationship. We moved in with each other. Well, I moved into her home in Gwinnett in 2015 with all of my children. We got back together February 2021. We went on a trip to Vegas. We, like I said, I moved back into the home. We were reconciling. In that period of time, I was in therapy. We discussed couples therapy. We did not go forward with that. We started it, but we did not agree on the therapist. So we did not stick with couples therapy, but I was in individual therapy. In my therapy time, I was advised on different ways that we can talk to each other, and I was even advised to record. So for the past 2 years, I have been recording Bertina Russell and I's arguments for record. We have had several arguments in between that time, but in this particular time this year, it led up on February 27th. We had an argument about our home. Both of us are on the home, on the deed to that house. Christina wanted us to pick up and move to Florida to rent a home and turn our home into a rooming home. It was a disagreement. It went wrong. On March the 5th, she made accusations on me stating that I was cheating with a male. March the 14th, Jeray goes to bed at 9 o'clock. He was fed, and I went to the laundromat. At 11 o'clock, Jeray is calling me, asking me where I was. I hung up with him, and I called Bertina, asking her, why isn't Ray J in bed? We both exchanged words over that phone call. I got home. I put Ray J to bed. I proceeded to the game room where me and Bertina argued. We argued, it got rough. We shoved. I hit her. After that, Jalen and Aaliyah came into it. Aaliyah pushed me out. I went out of the house. I then went to my car and I proceeded to shoot the gun in the air. I shot one shot. I was not on the porch. I was in our yard. We had 5 acres of land, and it's always been Bertina's words. We have 5 acres of land. We can do what we want. This is how we all shoot the gun. All of us. It's no secret. We all shoot the gun around that house. The gun is no longer in the house and has not been in the house since that night of our argument. From there on, a week after, Bertina did leave the house that night. After that, a week later, I contacted Bertina, and she was not happy that I contacted her a week afterwards instead of the day afterwards to apologize. During that conversation, I advised her that she needs to get a lawyer because I was filing for a divorce. Mid-March, the 24th, I sent Bertina a message in regards to the phone bill. She never responded to the message. I have been sending Bertina different messages on different things that have been going on in our household with our household bills. Nothing is adding up. Nothing makes sense. And my exact words to her is, I don't understand how you can go get your body redone and our bills is falling behind. She got mad over that. But it was just my smart statement to it. On the 15th of March, I believe, I also was going over more bills as far as the Georgia Power, everything that was past due, basically. Bertina knew about it. March the 17th is when my lawyers and everything, they finalized the paperwork. Moving forward to the divorce, I signed off on the petition and everything, and it was filed with the clerk of courts. April the 4th, Ray J gets out of school between 2:15 and 2:30. she locked the baby out that day to where I had to leave work and I had to go and get him. I made arrangements because Antoinette and Nick, her boyfriend, they are out during the day working. I made arrangements and a deal with Antoinette I will make sure I will cover their storage fees if she can sit during the day at home. She can pick up night shift or whatever. We arranged it. Antoinette had been living at the house, but she has not been there consistently every day. Her and her boyfriend to go get hotels or whatever. Antoinette's school stuff was delivered to the house and everything. So she had been at the address since February, the end of February. And I also submitted pictures of Antoinette washing dishes at the house while Bertina was sitting on the countertop as well. That was the April 4th incident. With Ray J being locked out and why we started taking measurements to make sure that somebody is at the house to get him because it's like she fell back from doing us when it was the usual duties. Since he started school, she's the one that works from home. She usually gets him out. But when he rung the doorbell and I was talking to him and through the doorbell, she had not answered the door for him. On March the 16th, I asked again about the phones. The bill was $500. It was her phone on there, her daughter's, and the business phone on my account. I have been asking
Hi,
about the
Jesse, new sub. Welcome. You're in the right place. We're watching some crazy court.
money since February. She has not given me money on the phone bills since February. She also has not been paying the note on her truck business where she put it in deferment for 2 months. She had not paid the bill on that. So bills were falling behind way before a TPO order came in existence. So I did have AT&T suspend the phone services on April 16th. On April 16th, on April 22nd, it was an incident where I contacted Bertina in regards to our dog, Queen. I seen on the camera that she was outside. It was my fault that I did not check the door behind me, that it flew open, and she was outside. I contacted Bertina, and of course, it was some ugly words because she thought that I did it deliberately and all this kind of stuff where it was not done deliberately. It was a mistake. I did not check behind myself. Queen was out. Queen did not hurt anybody or nothing. She was on our front porch. We were watching her on the camera, even though neither parties could get back to the house to let her in. Later on that afternoon, when we got home, by this time, let me back up. After the altercation on February 14th, we have been living on separate sides of the house. But Bertina has not, this year, since her body surgery, she has not been on our bed, up in our bedroom.
Since her what surgery? Sorry, what was that? Also, hi guys. Welcome back from the chase. I know it's over. Thank you for coming back. Confused. What kind of body surgery?
At all. She's been in her office on her full-time mattress where she got her body pillow laid out because of her surgery wounds or whatever, and I'm a wild sleeper. She had not been up in our room. The surgery was 2 days before Christmas. We were down in Miami. We got back the beginning of January. She has not been in our bedroom or on that side of the house the whole 2023. So for her to be on that side of the house was nothing new after our altercation. She just locked the door now. So after after we got home, the same evening that the dog was out, We came in with groceries and everything else. Bertina came out of her office, and she unplugs the TV. There's the video that was submitted. She unplugs the TV and says, "Y'all not using my electricity." It said my name. We told her to go on with that. We all was sharing words with her. Everybody was loud because at that time we already knew hostility. That's all it's ever been when she's confronting a situation. It's loudness or it's tugging and pulling at stuff, taking stuff away. It's mine, it's mine. So during that time, Bertina said some words. She went back into her office. Antoinette came behind her and tried to close the door. Bertina came back up, trying to open back up the door. Antoinette was still on the door. She had her foot at the bottom of the door, holding the door closed, and Bertina was pushing the door out. So the top of the door was flip-flapping back and forth to eventually Bertina stepped on the step that's inside her office. The wrong turn, she fell through the glass. The police was called that day. Diffused the issue, Antoinette was asked to leave the house for 24 hours. The next day, around 1 o'clock, Bertina was served with the divorce papers. After she was served, Bertina came back to the common area of the house where I was cooking, and Aaliyah was sitting on the kitchen counter. She proceeded
It's coming back.
sweep
1 sec.
the glass that was out from the day before. She started sweeping the glass up in the air. I called the police on that day. The police advised us that if they come back out, that somebody was going to go to jail because they know where this is going, type of situation. She also had informed the police that she was going to report my car stolen because my car is in her name. The police advised in our house that's on the 24th. Asked her not to do it that day. That Monday, on the 24th, around 10:30, I get a phone call with Aaliyah and a police officer. Bertina had called the police again, but I was at work. No one was home but Aaliyah. She was stating that someone was kicking at her door and all this kind of stuff. The police officer said that she didn't see any foul play, any evidence, so she was not writing up in the report for that day. On the 23rd, April the 23rd, the day that she got served the divorce papers, she also had a kickback party to where she knew that it was a minor child. We do not have our
Okay. I have lots of fun parties, but I don't call them kickback parties. That sounds like a corporate Wall Street party. But you're going to hear here what she's alleging. So this is the woman, the one I'm circling here, who's testifying, and this woman were together. They're married. These two kitty corner kitty pussycat ladies.
bags while a minor child is in the household. She did. She had naked women all in our jacuzzi and everything while the child was there. I asked her beforehand not to do this, but I already knew where it was going. So I have been making plans because I was the one that filed for divorce. I knew naturally I was going to be moving out of the home. But on the 24th,
I have to assume that a kickback party is some soft swinging. Like, That's not what I call it, but that's what I have to assume here. Because she's saying, like, when we have our kickback parties, as in, like, they do this normally, but this one's not the normal. And they have a hot tub. Dang.
Before I had went to work, Bertina was down in the comment area with her daughter, conjuring up. I had already heard that they were going to put a TPO on me, and she was stating that she was going to tell the courts that I fired multiple shots in the air and all this kind of stuff. Hence the reason why I just went on and got rid of the gun out of the house that I am registered to, that is mine, but it's not in the household. She also stated how she was going to put a claim on my car, stating that I ran my car into her trucks that has been sitting in the yard for almost a year now. She was going to file a claim on me, stating that I hit the cars, which is recorded as well. And so I already knew where it was going with the TPO. I was on the 25th of April, after she had came and filed for the TPO on the 24th, she removed me from the insurance policy on the car. On the 27th, I was served the TPO around 10:30 that night. As I was giving directions to the girls on, what to do with Ray J and everything else, Antoinette came out of my office area, because the way the house is set up, they were on the west wing of the house and we were on the east wing of the house. It's literally, we had our own living spaces, really. Antoinette came out of my office, and before we all knew it, Tina showed that she was the aggressor to the police, which they said that they knew that she was going to pull something. She choked Antoinette up and slammed her to the ground. The cop did mention that he had it on his body cam, that he knew that she was going to do something. So, I'm sorry. I need to take a sip.
Well, why don't you just let me just take a minute to deal with this kickback party fuss? Because the thing is, she's the one that mentioned the naked ladies in the hot tub. I didn't. I would have thought a kickback party, I would have thought it would to do with football. But they said naked ladies. I like those kinds of parties. Next time I'd like an invite.
From April the 28th to May 1st, I have been locked out of Georgia Power, where Bettina Russell put a PIN number on the account, so I couldn't even call in to pay a bill. She changed all the passwords to the water company, to everywhere. The only thing that remained on that was recently turned off as of last Friday was the internet and cable. And the internet and cable is gone because I can show where on May 11th, when Bertina was let back into the home, she disconnected the Wi-Fi service box and the cable box, which is now gone, that I had to report stolen on my account because it's not in the home. She has had the registration canceled on my car. She has closed our joint account where all the bills are paid out of the joint account. I don't have a way to pay my car note for this month. I don't know where she's exactly going with this, but I was getting out of the home. All I need now is permission to go in the home and get my stuff. Where everything else stands is more of a divorce issue with our house and everything else. I'm not looking to get answers today on that. I just want my private property so I can remain out of the house and get away from this situation. Because at the end of the day, I fear more for my life and my kids' life in this situation that Bertina has put up on. This is so unnecessary. with the disrespect of having people in our house that's carrying guns and everything else, and for you to make an accusation off of me shooting the gun up, but that's nothing. You use something that we laugh about. Now you want to use it and against me as if it was something that is not. I don't have no hatred towards Bertina in this matter. I just want to be away from her. I want this situation settled because it's more hurting to see a 9-year-old going through this situation he's never experienced, seen violence, seen us argue, or anything of the such. Everything has been in this 2 year span time building up, which led to me filing for divorce. I have took anger management classes since the incident on March the 14th. I took anger management courses, and I've also been in therapy since then as well. I restarted back up with a therapy session since our incident in 2021.
All right. I'm going to turn to a few of the other parties now. Miss Aaliyah Miller, you're the first one I see on my screen. I'll ask you first. Were there any questions you had for Miss Russell?
No, sir.
All right. Miss Bennett, did you have any questions for Miss Russell?
No.
All right. Miss Antoinette Miller, did you have any questions for Miss Russell?
No.
Thank you all. All right. Miss Christina Russell, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
All right. Go ahead.
My first question is, you mentioned about utility bills. What was your deal with your as far as throughout the duration of your
Miss Russell, this might be me because I'm on a new computer. I haven't.
Let me lean this way. Is that better?
It is. That's crazy.
I gotta lean to the left. Okay.
All right.
My first question was in reference to her statement as far as the utility bills. Was you solely responsible for utility bills and not responsible for the mortgage payments and insurance, or were we to split the utility bills?
I was solely responsible for the utility bills as far as the Georgia Power and the water bill, the cable and internet, and I took care of my car note.
Okay, so then you advised me that you were behind any utility bills, had no bearing on me. Were you also, as far as the phones, were you and Aaliyah's phone not also on that family plan? The people that lived in the household, me, you, Aaliyah, and Jalen, we all were part of one plan together, correct? It was not just me and Jalen's phone. Was it a family plan for all of the members of the household?
We have a family plan on my ID to where you were giving funds for you, Jalen, and the business phone. Aaliyah pays her $60 to me, and I cover my portion.
When we took a trip to Jamaica, was there not an agreement that you would be responsible for that phone bill in exchange for me paying for that trip to Jamaica?
And was the trip not paid for as of January of this year?
Question. Was that a yes or no? I'm sorry.
No.
There was not an agreement that you were to pay for the phone
Not
bill?
this year. No, it was not.
Oh, okay. So there was no agreement as far as the phone bill.
I'm here to decide whether to issue a protective order based on allegations of violence. So we're just going to move on from this line of questioning.
Okay. In reference to Florida, you said that there was no gun involved. You did not give the gun to my cousin, bring back in a car for you to fly when we were in Florida. Is that not the truth?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is it true or not that a gun was involved in Florida and you gave the gun to a relative of mine to drive back to Atlanta in order for you to fly?
Sorry, I don't recall no gun being involved, huh?
Okay. You're under perjury.
Russell, we don't need any editorial comments. Just ask the questions. You understand the answers you get are the answers you get.
Got it. And so it is a contradictory because you said you invited your daughter in April. You made arrangements after Ray J was locked out of the home. But me working from home, it could have been that I was in a meeting at the time he rung the doorbell, yes or no? There had never been any intention in the past of this child being locked out, right? And I'm just trying to clarify a time frame.
All right, let's slow down. You're moving on to question 3, and I have not heard answers to 1 or 2. So the first one is, do you know if Miss Russell was on any kind of meeting or occupied with work from home at the time that the child was unable to enter?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Don't know. Perfectly good answer. Okay.
And so is it you invited your daughter and her ex-con boyfriend to live in a home without discussing it with your wife? Is that normal procedure protocol when you share in a home?
I'm sorry, you had your cousin come stay with us. So that question I can't answer, Your Honor.
Was there a discussion handled? The question was there a discussion that you had with your spouse about inviting your daughter and her ex-con boyfriend to live in a household?
You was aware about Antoinette living in the household. Her boyfriend comes and goes.
When did that conversation take place?
When we discussed Antoinette going back to school in February, we was giving her one last chance to make this right.
We never had that discussion. When did that discussion happen?
Valentine's Day. Over dinner that you made.
We discussed Antoinette. Okay. But you hadn't filed for divorce until April, so why would you invite her back in February to help with Ray J? Because you stated your testimony was you had her come help with Ray J.
Antoinette needed somewhere to go when her lease expired. She told us her situation in February. I asked Antoinette to change her work schedule after you locked Ray J out in April. Antoinette was already in the home. And like I said, I have pictures and everything submitted for that to collaborate there.
I hope they're dated. Did you not text me advising me that you were in a hit and run in the vehicle? And I advised you to contact the police and the insurance company and you failed to do so?
The car was allegedly hit and while I was at work, but it was not my RAV4 that they called on the speakerphone. They thought it was mine because it was the same red RAV4 at Buckhead nursing home, and I didn't have my supervisor. They called me on the speaker, which I called you to let you know. But I also said that it was not my car that got hit that day later on in the statement.
Your Honor, I took pictures of the car and submitted that. That's all the questions that I have.
All right.
Oh, no, I do have one more question. I'm sorry. Because I submitted this evidence as well. Did you not text me advising me you would send your payment for your portion of the bill via Zelle?
We're not doing the bills. We're just going to move on. So, okay. All right. So I'm checking my notes here. I believe that takes us next to Miss Leah Miller. Is that correct, Miss Miller?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have been sworn in because I swore all the parties in, and I'm going to keep saying that to myself so that I remember that I've done it. What would you like to tell us today?
I would like to tell you guys that Judge Dude looks like Harry Potter today. Does he? Is it just me? Is it my strain kicking in? But seriously, look at him. You could just put a little lightning bolt scar on him and bam. That's Harry Potter. I just feel like we're getting such a different Wingardium Leviosa. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
would like to start my testimony at Valentine's Day. All the energy in the house shifted after Valentine's Day because Pratina was accusing my mom of sleeping with a man. She didn't have no kind of proof. All she had was conversations that they were having on Facebook. They do the same thing. I was in a room when they was arguing about her accusations of my mom sleeping with a man. I didn't agree with none of it because I know they're married. Y'all both done stuff. Y'all both been through stuff. I'm not here for all that. After Valentine's Day, that's when I feel like everything shifted. Everything in the house changed. All the energy. I noticed she started staying more, to herself on her side of the house. After the plastic surgery, Pratina was already breaking away. She was already starting to act different. It was like we came back from Florida and it was completely different. Her and her daughter. I don't care about the plastic surgery. I don't have no issue with nobody getting plastic surgery. I'm a personal trainer. I don't have no issue with somebody doing something to their body. My whole thing was y'all came back from Florida acting like brand new people. Like we wasn't the ones down there helping change bandages and clean up after people. We was feeding them and everything. But when we came back to Georgia, nothing was the same. I asked my mom, why is Pratina not sleeping up here with you? Why is Pratina down there? What's going on? I noticed the changes in their relationship. I lived there full time. Pratina has definitely tried to just badger my mom with the cheating accusations because it's a male from her past. Whatever, I'm not here to talk about the past. She accusing my mom of sleeping with a man when my mom is not sleeping with no man. That's when everything just shifted. February became too much. Early March, I'm a college student. I had spring break. I was going to New York early March. Coming back home from spring break, I thought everything was going to be okay. I asked both of them, can y'all please talk to each other? Can y'all please work this out? This has hurt my feelings just as much as it has hurt them. We was a family. Anyways, after coming back home from spring break, everything was just shifted. Everything changed. Their communication didn't make any progress. Everything was just different. It was basically like we was just living in a loveless house. Like nobody had love for each other no more. And with everything happening, I guess I'm leaning on the situation. Their argument and the shooting. The argument and the shooting night, I was asleep. I was woken up out my sleep. Jalen came in my room, waking me up. Aaliyah, they in there arguing, your mom and Blaze getting into it. So I hopped up and I went in the room where they were at. We're sitting in the game room. They're arguing and screaming back and forth. I did not have to remove my mom off of Pratina. I didn't have to get my mom off of her. She was never on top of her. None of that on top of her, beating her, none of that. I wasn't present for the slap. When I came into the game room, I grabbed my mom by her arm and I said, let's go. My mom yelled whatever she yelled to Pratina and we walked out. I came back in the game room. I asked, was everybody okay? I said, this is too much. And I went back to my room. I heard one gunshot. I did not hear 4 gunshots. I did not hear 3 gunshots. I heard 1 gunshot. After that, everything pretty much just
Upcoming, oh yeah.
It was more like all of us was a unit. Everybody was pitching in and helping out wherever they can. Everybody was playing a part some way, somehow to make sure JJ was structured. All of us know his bedtime is 9 o'clock. And the craziest part of it is Pratina is the main one who was stressed. Why is he still watching YouTube? Why is he still on the phone? It's 9 o'clock. Why isn't he in a bed? But I feel like because they had the whole cheating accusations and everything that they was already previously dealing with, she was being paid. Pratina didn't play her role. She didn't step in where she was, needed. Everybody does for JJ every single day. But during the time of their arguments and the cheating accusations, she fell back from JJ. moving on from March, all of this stuff in April, I'm contesting this TPO because everything that has been filed on my name is a lie. I've submitted evidence to prove everything that has been sent on my name is a lie. Everything she said I've done, I've submitted evidence and proof that it was not me who did it. The day that she said that glass door got broke, I was nowhere near the door when the door got broke. I didn't cause wounds to her body. That situation took place between her and Antoinette Miller. I had nothing to do with the glass door being broke. I submitted pictures and videos of where I was standing in the moment of that glass being shattered. And the only reason why the glass was shattered is because Antoinette and Bertina were holding the doorbell, struggling back and forth with the doorbell, shaking and rattling, whatever. All I know is Bertina had her shoulder and she was like pushing her body into the door, and it was like boom, boom, boom. On that third boom, she flew through that glass. But she's trying to say I broke the glass door and I caused injuries to her arms and legs. The police was called. I submitted evidence. I was not the one who had to deal with the police on the day the glass door being broke. They spoke with Antoinette. Antoinette is the one who had to leave. On April 23rd, she said that I picked up the shattered glass and threw it at her. I never picked up no shattered glass and threw it at nobody. Bertina was mad at me. We were having an entire argument because when I noticed that the living room couch was gone, my statement was, "Wow, you took the couch." She got mad and started screaming to the top of her lungs, "I paid for it. I bought it. This is my couch." Because of how heated the argument was getting, Bertina took the broom and all the glass was in a pile right next to her office door. When Bertina took that broom and started flinging the glass at us, it was violent. She took the broom and just started flinging glass. My mom called the police because we was just hit with glass. They didn't do nothing. They asked, would anybody leave? And it was pretty much like nobody wanted to leave on the day of the whole glass or whatever, and her taking the couch from us. She said that on April 24th, she said that I was beating on the door. I was damaging her door. April 24th, absolutely nothing happened. I hadn't seen Bertina Russell until the DeKalb County Police was called. I didn't see her at all the night before or the morning of. I didn't see her April 23rd at night, and I didn't see her April 24th in the morning time until the DeKalb County Police officer approached me asking questions. How did the door get broke? I told her, "Ma'am, I did not do that. I didn't do that. That don't got nothing to do with me." After that, she told me that it was not going to be no report rolled in. Bertina just screaming, yelling, trying to intimidate me the whole time. I'm talking to the police officer. After speaking with her, it was just more like just moving on. We were literally just trying to stay on our side of the house and leave them on their side of the house. And I think she was just wondering too much of what was going on our side of the house. Bertina has put lies on this TPO, saying that I destroyed her greenhouse, keyed her car, I took her dog, put her security system. She said that I tried to hack her online bank account. Your Honor, I have done none of these things. None of them. Not one of them. I have proof to show you. I have done none of these things that has been said on my name. None of them. Majority of the situation is more like what was between her and Antoinette. She's trying to say happened between me and her. But I believe it was so she could just get me out of the house since my mom was already served with a TPO. I didn't do none of the things that she said I did. Like I said, I submitted evidence to show. I text her about her dog. I have text message receipts. I text her about Queen. I have been the one feeding Queen and taking her to use the bathroom. I have been taking care of Queen alongside my nephew. It's pretty much JJ's dog if we've been serious. I've helped out in ways where it's more like she does all this against me. I didn't cut no security system. We don't even have wires on our security system. It's a adapter that you plug in and plug out. Like, all of this stuff is lies. I didn't try to hack nobody's bank account, change nobody's email and passwords. All of this is lies. Everything on this TPO is a lie. And like I said, my evidence is there to back me up, showing I had nothing to do with the glass door situation. The 24th, absolutely nothing happened. She has been harassed. She harassed us for the first 5 days of this situation. She called the police every single day with absolutely no evidence of anything happening because nothing happened. Other than that glass door getting broke, nothing happened. And I really hate that we going through all this. And I ain't got no hatred to none of them. I looked up to Patina. I respected her. I even submitted a prayer that I wrote back in January. I prayed for this woman. That none of this would have ever happened. But it was just more like if you ain't seeing no changes, ain't nothing gonna change. I'm over it. Just coming back home, moving back home. I'm a full-time college student. She trying to destroy my reputation before I can even build it. I've done none of these things that this woman has said I've done to her. That's all I have to say.
All right, Ms. Antoinette Miller, do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
All right, Ms. Sharanda Russell, do you have any questions for this witness?
Leah, on the day that you were served the TPO, where was Queen at?
On the day that I was served the TPO, Queen was still roaming around with us.
Okay. Have you ever had access to Blaze and I joint bank account?
Never.
Have you ever paid any bills of ours?
I don't have access to none of those things.
That's all.
I would also like to add that Patina Russell has caused us damage to a lot of my property since I've been served with this TPO and made to leave home. She has destroyed my property. She threw away my groceries. I submitted the Kroger receipt for my groceries. I submitted the pictures of my property being destroyed. I didn't touch none of her stuff, but this TPO, she violated this TPO by touching my belongings. I didn't touch none of her stuff.
All right, let me turn to Ms. Bennett. Ms. Bennett, do you have any questions? I don't think there was any testimony here that really involved you, but.
No, I'm good.
Okay, thanks. All right, Ms. Patina Russell, do you have questions for this witness?
I do. So you said that you didn't have access to anything. Who did you not assist your mother in moving out?
I think we'll need you to go about a foot to the left.
When you move to the left.
Perfect.
Is that better? Okay. Did you not move my items from my bedroom?
Say that one more. I can't hear
Ms.
nothing.
Miller, are you having trouble hearing as well?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Sometimes it's me, and so especially on a new device. But all right, try this one more time.
Access to any of my items, but all of my items shifted to the living room. Did you not assist your mother and sister in moving those items?
Are we speaking before the TPOs or after TPOs? Because everything that got split up and rearranged and moved and all that, the Cal County police told me do not touch none of her stuff. After we moved everything out of that bedroom, helping my mom or whatever, the Cal County police informed me don't do that again. Do not touch her belongings.
So in those items were personal information. So that would explain how you got access to that. As far as
I didn't have no.
All right, we're gonna stop talking over each other because we can't do this. Ask your question, wait for your answer, allow them to elaborate if they need to elaborate, and then you're able to ask another. So, what was the question?
The moving of my items from my bedroom. Did you assist in that move of my personal belongings? Did you touch my personal belongings?
I moved clothes, yes. The only thing I was asked to move was clothes. I don't know nothing. I didn't see no other.
Who asked you to move those items?
My mom. And like I said before, this was before any TPO situations happened.
Right. So before the TPO was served, you and your mother took it upon yourself to touch my personal belongings.
The same way you touched ours, yes.
And so what items of yours did I touch prior to the TPO?
Prior to the TPO, you took all of the kitchen stuff. You took the couch. You took all the common stuff in the house. I don't care that you paid for it. You took stuff that everybody uses every single day. That's wild.
I took
But
stuff
you mad
like
at me
weapons,
because I
like
moved your phone?
knives. I took items like knives.
I
weapons.
submitted evidence pictures. She removed all pots and pans. She removed dishes. She removed more than just knives.
I removed things that could be used as weapons. Yes or no?
Is there any more questions?
Did I
Asked
remove?
you if she removed possible weapons.
Did she remove who?
Possible weapons.
I guess so. It was still knives in the drawer with the silverware though. Not she took her set, like her,
Like the
chef
knife block
knives.
set.
Yeah, other than the chef's knives, it was still butter knives and cheese knives all in the regular silverware drawer. You took the chef's knives, the set
I
that
took
you've
the
been having.
knives that could be used as weapons.
I
left the
wasn't about
butter knife.
anything else.
So you said that you were unaware of what happened to the door, yet you were the only one home when the door was kicked in and the police was called that morning?
I don't know nothing about no door being kicked in because there was not no door kicked in. The Cobb County asked me what happened to the door. I told them I don't know, and they moved on. Didn't nobody kick no door in. There's no door kicked in. I have video evidence of how the house looked when I left the house, when I was served the TPO. I have video of how I left the room. I have video of how I left my belongings. I have video of everything. There was no door kicked in.
Okay. That's all.
There's no damage.
I have
No damage.
All right. And Miss Miller, when you were, it looked like your order. I don't have it in front of me, but I think the order removed you, but told you you had one trip with a law enforcement escort. Had you had time to arrange that, or have you not had time?
No, sir. Since they told me to get a couple outfits, I literally have a book bag. I've been buying clothes, buying underwear, buying socks because all my stuff is still at home. But from what I was informed on I believe May 11th, when Patina was allowed to go back to the house, that's when some of my property was damaged. That's when the cameras that was watching my belongings, all the cameras that was set up in the house were set up for a reason. To watch our belongings because they were all just sitting in one room. She tore down those cameras. She took my bed from where it was at and put it in a pile of dog pee in the middle of the living room. My bed I basically need to buy a bed. I've been buying clothes. I've been buying toothbrushes. I've been buying everything. I'm just surviving out here without all my stuff pretty much. I just want my stuff. That's all I want. I don't want to be near Patina at all. I just want my belongings from the residence. That's it. But it's just sad because everything that she's saying and doing, she wanted everybody out the house, but this was not the way to do it.
Judge, do you think you could do an ASIO spell to get all her stuff out of the house for her, maybe? ASIO stuff. I still think he looks so much like Harry Potter today for some reason. He's just vibing Harry Potter. This goes on for another 25 minutes.
You got this TPO filed on my name on lies. Everything you said I did was a lie. You gotta live with that.
All right. I think I'll have to ask these questions in turn. Ms. Goodman, I don't think I'm co-hosted, but do we have any parties in the waiting room who still need to be brought to court?
We have one party named Maria. And I'll make Judge.
And can somebody enlighten me? I've heard who they were with at the beginning of the day, but I have forgotten. Who brought somebody by the name of Maria?
I did for the TPO from Antoinette.
Okay. So, Ms. Bennett, we're going to hear from your witness. We'll bring them in. I'll swear them in, and then I'll see what information they have to offer us. Give us just a moment.
Yeah, let's see what information the witness has to offer. Any bets on if this witness will be valuable?
Good afternoon. Thank you for your patience with us. We've had a somewhat lengthy calendar today, although I can promise you it wasn't nearly as lengthy as yesterday's. Could I have you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear any statements you make to the court today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Can you tell us your name for the record, please?
Maria Mascaro.
Thank you. And how do you know Miss Bennett?
We're friends of friends. We met.
All right. We are here for protective order petitions that have been filed by some of the parties you might see on your screen, depending on how many you show at once. Do you have any information about that was directly communicated to you that is, or that you witnessed or saw or heard about violence, threats of violence, property damage, and so on?
I've heard somewhat, but it's not. I don't know the full story. The only thing I do know about the one incident that the reason why she has the protected order is nothing happened that day.
So let me ask, were you there to observe the parties?
No, but when whatever incidents happened is just basically I didn't see anything. I wasn't there. But the one incident, the one where they had the protected order on her because she was telling people stuff and people were threatening her, there was never a threat being made to anyone. So I don't understand why they're putting her in that position.
Okay. All right.
I can shed a little light if you need.
I'll be frank, Miss.
You may need a little light shed on this a little bit. In reference to the TPO that Antoinette took out on Jalen, she stated that Jalen was calling people and she feared for her life and people came to the house that she didn't know. The person in question that came to the house is Maria. She came to bring some cameras, which Antoinette and her boyfriend destroyed. But she came by to drop off cameras and Antoinette falsely lied in the TPO claiming she was unaware of
all right,
who
these are argumentative statements. Let me, well, I was trying to get in front of you with that, but essentially sustained. So, Ms. Mascaro, have you been to the house at the Portillo address at all in the last
I've been there.
months? When was the last time you were there?
The last time I was there was the day that they're saying that there was threats being made, or the day we were taking the cameras. That's the last day that I was there.
Can you estimate, like?
Can I please get some lip chap guesstimates in the chat? I would like to know what kind of lip chap we have application-wise happening over in the top right corner. Take a close look as we go through it again.
The last time I was there was the day that they're saying that there was threats being made, or the day we were taking the cameras. That's the last day that I was there.
Can you estimate like a month or a part of a month where that happened?
I would say, I think it's since everything's been going on, probably like a month.
Okay, sometime in April, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went out there to bring cameras?
Yes.
And you're talking about like closed circuit security camera style.
It's just little Wi-Fi little cameras where you can see through your phone and all that.
Okay, so and who was at the house when you went to the house?
I'm not really good with names, but it is a young lady with the blue shirt, the one that opened the door.
Okay. And so what happened when you went to the house?
Well, everything was dark, so I pulled up. We knocked on the door. We heard knocked on the door. I heard the dog bark, and I was like, I was looking through the little. They have the window, the glass on the window, looking to see if anybody was in there. I knocked again. The dog came out. Then the young lady with the blue shirt came out, and she came out. And she's like, "You're looking for Jalen?" And I told her yes. And then that's whenever she said, "Oh, you have to go through the side, or go around." And I went around around to look, and I'm like, where am I supposed to go? After I didn't see anything, so I was like, all right, you know what? I just got back in the car and I left.
Okay.
I believe she was coached into this testimony, Judge, because me and my boyfriend and my sister was there that day.
The young lady that
I'm
spoke,
gonna be
she never
honest. She
came on the
wasn't here. Hey, she wasn't here for any real
Yeah, she ended up having to
testimony
talk to
providing
me.
direct evidence of violence or threats therein, and so that's kind of.
I don't know who she is. She didn't talk to me. I didn't talk to her.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is she's admitted that she wasn't present for any altercations involving the parties here. So the scope of her testimony is already limited by the fact that, she has explained why she brought cameras on that particular day. Based on Miss Miller nodding at one point, it sounds like Miss Aaliyah Miller was the one that answered the door. And that she might be in agreement as to that part of it. But, the issues that we're really here to hash out today are about more than that. I mean, that does explain how the cameras came to be at the house. It's a question of fact as to whether that was the person or people that might have been summoned by Miss Bennett over the course of the events that play out alleged in Miss Antoinette Miller's petition against Miss Bennett. I can only repeat everybody's name so many times before I just shut down. So, okay. All right. So, Miss Antoinette Miller, do you have any questions that you wish to ask Miss Mascoro about what she saw or was told or experienced?
Okay, and I just wanted to ask her, so she didn't witness anything, just to clarify that, right?
I didn't witness anything.
Okay. That was all I had to ask.
All right. Miss Sharanda Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I do not.
Thank you. Miss Aaliyah Miller, did you have any questions for this witness?
No, sir.
All right. Miss Bennett, were there any questions for this witness that I should have asked and I haven't asked yet?
No.
All right. And Miss Bertina Russell, did you have any questions for this witness?
I do. At any time, Maria, did you see Antoinette Miller when you came to the house?
Miss Russell, I'm going to need you to try to move again.
Also, it's a med check, folks. Med check. Line up for your meds. Single file, please. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, when I call med check, that means, do I take meds? If I do, when did I take them / when do I need them? And if you don't, damn, son, tell us about what that's like in the chat, because we all take meds.
What's going on with this wire here? I was saying, Maria, when you came to the house that night, did you see Antoinette Miller at all, or did you just see the one in the blue shirt?
I just seen the one in the blue shirt.
When you came to the house, other than you having a discussion as far as there's Jalen and her directing you to the side of the house, were there any other comments or words exchanged?
No, it was just knocked on the door. She asked me, was I looking for Jalen? I told her yes. And she said, go around the house. I went around the house. I ended up by where the garage is at. And I was like, I don't see anything here. So I just left. I didn't want to knock on the door again or whatever. So I just got in the car and I left.
Okay, I just have one more question. In reference to Antoinette Miller, have you ever seen her?
Jalen's party, I think she was there when we went out on the party bus.
Right, so
everybody was there.
Everybody was there. So she has seen you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I got a question for Miss Maria. Miss Maria, out of the 9 years that Bertina Russell and I've been together, how many times have you been to the house?
I would say about 4 4 or 5 times?
Between both houses that we didn't had together, or just Patilla?
Just the Patilla one.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Mascoro, we're going to place you back in the waiting room, and from there, you're free to log off and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being with us and participating in this process.
All righty, thank you.
All right. I still have my 5 parties. I have no others in the waiting room. Is there anyone who, I'm looking around, I think everybody was sworn in together, but everybody had their opportunity to make a statement and to be questioned by the court. Is there anyone among the 5 of you that I've missed in all of this? All right. So, I will say this, because I think it's important to acknowledge. We've been doing this a while, this particular hearing, but considering that it is 5 different petitions, there's a lot to work with. But with that said, for the most part, especially given the stress and the number of different relationships and interactions that are here between the 5 of you, you've conducted yourselves as a group with an amount of decency and decorum and respect for this process and understanding of how this has to be if we're going to get through it, even though I know there are times where I can hear it in your voices, even when you're not being mean, the passion, the frustration, the anger, the hurt, all of those things. And Miss Aaliyah Miller, it was hard to hear what you had to say. I want to say that and acknowledge it. I think it took a lot of courage to say that with everybody else in this room, to just take a moment to speak on what this has meant to your family as a group. And I want to say that was it was a moving statement in a stressful and uncomfortable situation about the loss that I can tell that to you especially is palpable in these circumstances. The questions that we have to answer are complicated here, and they break down across various cases in different ways, and sometimes they are affected even by the existence of other cases that are out there in the system, either open or closed or floating their way through. And so I know that the divorce case is hanging out there. It looks like paperwork continues to be filed, and that will continue to be worked on. It does not look like there's anything as far as court dates or anything upcoming that has been set yet. And what happens in these cases, I think I mentioned that it may have been this case, it may have been a different case, but the T and TPO is temporary. This is deciding what things sit with what person while the rest of this plays out around you all. Especially, and forgive me, I hope this doesn't come across as derogatory, but I'm going to refer to the 3 of you as the kids, because you are their children. It's when you hear the testimony from the witnesses, when you hear the testimony from all 5 of you, it's very easy to see how the 3 of you got pulled into this, and I don't want to say forced to pick sides, because I don't think there was an arm twisting or a coaching or manipulation to get you to do it, but I understand how everyone ended up where they were in that sense, and I guess is what I want to convey. We have a divorce case pending. We have a special conditions bond that will be in effect telling Ms. Russell not to have any contact with Ms. Miller. That bond has been clarified pursuant to last week's court date regarding possession of the home. And so my rulings, I'm going to try to go down the calendar for these in order, because one of the parts of this, and there's some things that are my business and my problem and how I make my rulings and handle these cases. There's some things that are not my business and not my problem as it relates to the court case. And sometimes I feel like I need to speak on them anyway. When people are married and people start pulling out a label maker and slapping their names on stuff, that relationship is way past over. I can tell you that. I can also tell you that's not a real thing. That TV, that couch, whatever it may be, if it was bought during marriage, it's marital property. That's how that works. The bank account, it's marital property. And people start, when you try to turn it into the ugly version of an I Love Lucy episode where they're putting tape down the middle of the house, well, I'm not going to say any foul language, but you know, it's going somewhere down below. It's going downhill quickly. Let's just leave it at that. And so that, you know, you got me, I'm going to get mine kind of thing. As parties start to go back and forth with each other, it is very much the snowball rolling down the mountain. And you end up with it just getting worse and worse and escalating to this. So the first case on my calendar is 23 PO 4104 for Tina Russell against Sharanda Russell. It is a family violence petition based on communications with third parties that involved admissions, based on the testimony given by the parties in the case. I'm going to grant a 12-month protective order in that matter that will award possession of the residence for a temporary basis to Ms. Bertina Russell and require Ms. Sharanda Russell to arrange a trip to remove personal possessions.
Put your hand down, Mr. Smith. Any other questions?
It will specify that access to bank accounts, billing accounts, and utilities should be given to both parties to the extent that it may not have been there previously, or if it is, I guess the better way to put it, if some sort of access has been removed in the last 90 days for anybody in either direction between the two of you, it needs to be restored. The respondent, Ms. Sharanda Russell, can arrange a trip with a law enforcement escort to retrieve any personal belongings so that she can do so safely and under the sheriff's supervision, so there won't be any allegations of any violations of any orders. And so that will be the order as it relates to that case. Position 9 on my calendar, 23 PO 4301, is Antoinette Miller versus Bertina Russell. This is a more complicated one for a couple of reasons. One reason is that the circumstances as they presently exist in this case have essentially created a separation. I hate to call it a silver lining, especially after Miss Miller, Miss Aaliyah Miller, so eloquently expressed her feelings about this family breaking up. But when things are as bad as they are, I guess what I could say is the silver lining is that this separation, this spatial separation, makes these problems unlikely to resurface, flare up, reoccur. And we're in a situation with Miss Miller and Miss Russell, where Miss Miller is going to continue to be protected by the special conditions bond she has in place from the criminal court. The question that the court has to answer and protect, one of the questions we have to answer, is whether this order is reasonably likely to reduce the likelihood of future violence. And my ruling in this case, based on Ms. Miller's existing protections, is that it's not necessary. And so under that standard, it would not be issued. With respect to position 10, Antoinette Miller versus Jalen Bennett, similar issue arises as these parties, as this relationship dissolves and the parties go their separate ways. I don't foresee there being communication or problems between these parties. And so based on both the evidence presented in the hearing and my analysis of that situation, that order will not be extended. The fourth of the cases is Bertina Russell versus Aaliyah Miller, and that will be This is a somewhat unusual order, but so bear with me while I explain it, and hopefully it will make the reasons why will make sense. Ms. Miller, you expressed a heartfelt wish to be able to get your things and go. Is essentially part of what came out, and what I'm going to do to try to create a circumstance for that to safely and reasonably happen is essentially I will grant a 90-day extension of the protective order that provides you a trip with law enforcement and an escort to complete that task. You will not be required, based on the nature of the relationship and the short term of this order, to attend or perform any kind of counseling sessions or any other obligations. It is an order that will reiterate that you should stay away from Ms. Russell, but it provides you that access to the sheriff's office to gather any belongings, including but not limited to clothing and other personal items, so that you can have them as you move forward. And then that order will automatically expire August 23rd. And the last case on the calendar today is position 12, Ms. Russell versus Antoinette Miller. And that is going to be a similarly structured order for much the same reasons. And so it is a 3-month order which will reiterate the distinctions we discussed last Wednesday regarding possession of the residence on a temporary basis over the next 12 months, unless and until the divorce court jumps in and orders otherwise. I sit literally in this row by the designation of Superior Court. And what that means is that it's 10 elected Superior Court judges enlist the help of magistrate judges like myself on calendars like these. And so even though I sit with the full power, or almost the full power of a Superior Court judge, I very much work at their pleasure. And so when they get the divorce case, which is much more permanent, that is where business gets done for good. And so this will provide for that law enforcement escort. It will also automatically expire after that time. It also will not have any provisions beyond the standard provisions of staying away physically and not having contact with the person. There will be no counseling component because the nature of the relationship between you is not intimate partner violence, which is what those classes really are designed for. One spouse toward another spouse, or a dating partner toward another dating partner. And so these orders will be prepared within the next 48 hours, and they should be on file with the clerk's office by the close of business Friday. With respect to possession of property and things of that nature, the terms and conditions will look very much like they do in the continuance orders and modifications that were put forward at last, I think I said Wednesday, but it was actually last Tuesday's court date, the 16th or whatever it was. So the last time we were together, it will continue to remain like that. And my hope is that these 3-month orders will allow Ms. Miller and Ms. Miller to safely get everything they need to get without any hardship or interference, and those orders will expire by the time that they have gone on their way to start that next phase. And then as far as Ms. Russell and Ms. Russell are concerned, that order will be longer, but the divorce court will be able to hear anything that needs to be heard, both in relation to that order and in relation to other issues of permanent property disposition, ownership, bills, debts, obligations, and so on. So we are closing in currently on 2:30. I want to thank everybody for their participation in this process, for being so organized and thorough and respectful to both the court and each other. It's a lot for anyone under any circumstances.
Well, Josh, just stop. We all had a. What did you guys think about that with Le Judge and his decision there? I think it was pretty easy when there was a pew pew involved at the end. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. It's still light outside. Still light out there. Hold on. I had something queued up here.
trial.
Yeah. Yeah, Judge Manning. What was that?
Pre-trial.
Cool. Love you, Judge Manning. Happy birthday, Judge Manning. Happy birthday to her. Okay, some of you may have seen this earlier. I have to watch this live with you. I can't even believe it. It's in Judge Webster from Texas, his court, and oh my God, it's worth a second watch. If you watched it already, stick with us because I want to see his face. I want to I want to watch this again. So, here we go.
This court's going to call cause number D220712-D. This is in the 260th District Court of Orange County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Reagan Ferguson. Miss Amber Clegg, would you raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air?
Yes, sir. It's in the air.
Amber Clegg, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Jason Smith, raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air.
Yes, sir.
Jason Smith, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any other witnesses? You can put your hand down, Mr. Smith. Any other questions? Any other witnesses, Ms. Simone?
Just the party, sir.
All right. Call your first witness.
Okay, the state will call Mrs. Clegg.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Clegg, would you state your full name for the court's record?
It's Amber Danielle Clegg.
And do you have any safety concerns with your personal information being in today's court order?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And what is the name of the child we're here for today?
Reagan Danielle Harper Ferguson.
And when was Reagan born?
8/9/21.
How old is Reagan?
21 months.
And do you and Reagan both live together in Orange County?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is Reagan's father?
Jason Paul Smith.
At this time, the state would move to admit the genetic test results for Reagan as State's Exhibit A.
Ms. Clegg, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged DNA test results for the child Reagan Ferguson. Is it okay if I look at these results?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Smith, the same question. Is it okay if I look at these DNA test results?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence. Based on the admission into evidence of State's Exhibit A, the court's going to find that DNA testing has now been completed between Amber Clegg, the child Reagan Ferguson, and the alleged father, Mr. Jason Smith. I'm going to find that Mr. Jason Smith is, in fact, the biological and now the legal father of the child Reagan Ferguson. All right, go ahead, Ms. Simone.
And what would you like Reagan's last name to be?
Who are you talking to?
You, Miss Clegg.
It really doesn't matter because she's a female. So if he wants it to be Smith, then it could be Smith.
Little confused there. I guess what she means is because she will one day get married, her last name isn't as important to her. A little weird. Okay. That was the first red flag. Okay. First red flag of the day. Let's count how many I pull up.
Okay. Were you and Mr. Smith ever so you're okay with the child having the father's last name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you and Mr. Smith ever in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am. We were living together.
Okay. Did that relationship occur in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And was Reagan conceived here in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you tell Mr. Smith that he could be Reagan's father?
I told him about a week and a half after I found out I was pregnant, and I showed him the ultrasound and the pregnancy test, and he blocked me.
Okay. When did your relationship end?
It ended on March 21st when he walked out the door.
And what year was that?
And I'm sorry, 2021.
Okay. Has Mr. Smith ever provided any financial support for Reagan?
No, ma'am.
Are you asking the court for back child support today?
Yes, ma'am.
And who does your daughter live with?
Reagan with me.
Okay. How long has she lived with you?
Ever since she came home from the hospital.
And who makes the important decisions for her?
I do.
And who makes the day-to-day decisions?
I do.
Does Mr. Smith have a relationship with Reagan at all presently?
No, ma'am. If I can explain just for a brief second.
Okay.
If I may, she was born prematurely. I had her at 24 weeks, and they told me that she wasn't going to make it. And she was in the NICU unit for 4 months. Jason did go to the hospital the day she was born. He did call the hospital because during COVID, there only could be 2 people that can be entitled to the child. And since we came home, it's been absolutely silence. And she came home December 8th of 2021.
Okay. So has Mr. Smith ever seen her besides that?
Yes, yes.
When's the last time you saw her?
To my knowledge, he went to UTMB in Galveston 1 or 2 times. And that was in maybe the end of August of 2021.
What type of safety concerns do you have if Mr. Smith were to visit with Reagan?
The only thing that I'm concerned with is because there is another child that he ran with, and I have not been able to see or talk to her.
Is that your child?
Yes.
Is that a child that you and Mr. Smith have together?
Yes, ma'am.
Look at the judge. He is so perplexed. We got to back that up. Like, if you didn't hear, she so nonchalantly says this. She doesn't even make this the first thing she says. Look at the judge. Look at his face. Oh my God. Okay, so here's the timeline. He walked out of her door in March of 2021. The baby was born premature at 24 weeks, spent 4 months in the hospital, was released December 8th of 2021. Somebody do the math. When was the baby born? Sounds like he left before the baby was born. I, first of all, am confused about why the state of Texas doesn't already know why there's another child involved here. Isn't that an impact on the child support calculation? Like, I'm not wondering how old the baby is now. I want to know when the baby was born, if what's 4 months before December 8th, basically. That's what I want to know. Anyways, let's just do another little repeat of Judge's face here.
And I have not been able to.
What type of safety concerns do you have if Mr. Smith were to visit with Reagan?
The only thing that I'm concerned with is because there is another child that he ran with, and I have not been able to see or talk to her.
Is that your child?
Yes.
Is that a child that you and Mr. Smith have together?
Yes, ma'am. And we're both on the birth certificate, so they said that there's nothing I could do at the time because I'd have to go to court, and I was pregnant and I wasn't working. I didn't have funds to fight for my child, and so I've been working ever since, you know.
Okay, and this child does not reside with you presently?
No, because he ran with her.
Okay, so your child lives with Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Okay. What type of health insurance do you have for Reagan?
She's on Medicaid.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pass the witness at this time.
Okay, call your next witness.
I will call Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, would you state your full name for the court, please?
Jason Paul Smith.
Okay, and you are Reagan's biological father, correct?
Yes.
First of all, he just found that he's the biological father, ma'am. Do you not recall that just happened? Secondly, they had 2 kids, it sounds like. One is older and one was born in August, I'm hearing. And so between March and August, he left. Well, he was gone all of it, but I guess he was gone from March. And she, again, very nonchalantly dropping this sort of information. I was confused. Judge Webster, perplexed, perturbed, pissed, I would say. And Miss Simone is just like not picking up what anybody's laying down.
And what would you like her last name to be?
Smith.
Okay. And were you ever in a relationship with Miss Clegg?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that relationship occur here in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did that relationship end?
She said it. I just don't remember what she said, but that's the date it did, the day she said.
And when did Miss Clegg tell you that you could be Reagan's father?
She sent me a thing showing that she was pregnant and all that, like she said she did, and that's it. That's all she did.
And have you ever provided any financial support for Reagan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And who does Reagan live with?
Her mom.
And who makes the major life decisions for her?
Her mom.
And who makes the day-to-day decisions?
Showing that she was pregnant and all that, like she said she did, and that's it. That's all she did. Her mom.
Okay. Who makes the day-to-day decisions?
Her mom.
All right. When is the last time that you saw Reagan?
When she was first born.
Okay. And you have not seen her otherwise?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you presently working?
Yes, ma'am.
And where do you work?
EPS Logistics in Cameron.
And how long have you worked there?
About a year.
And are you paid hourly or a salary?
Salary.
And what do they pay you per hour?
16.
Do you work 40 hours per week?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And this job is in the state of Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you paying taxes to the state of Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you pay any sort of union dues?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What did you do before you worked for EPS?
I worked at Double E in Cameron.
How long did you work there?
Over a year.
Okay. And what were they paying you there?
There I was making, I think it was like 18.
And you were working
Somewhere
40
around
hours.
there.
You were working 40 hours
Yes,
a week
ma'am.
there? Okay.
But there, it depends on the weather, really. But it was 40 hours a week, but it depends on the weather if you work in the plant.
Okay. Do you have any health insurance available for Reagan through your job?
Yes.
Do you know what the cost of that would be?
I don't know. I really couldn't afford the insurance for a kid on where I'm at now because it's so high.
Okay. And do you have any other biological children under the age of 18?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Does that child live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the child that you have with Miss Clegg?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. And on that note, can I speak on that stuff?
If you can wait for a moment.
Okay.
What is the name of that child?
Blakely Marie Smith.
I will go ahead and pass this witness.
Call your next witness.
I don't have any further witnesses.
All right. Well, I got lots of questions. Mr. Smith, you there?
Yes, sir, I do.
How long have you had Blake in your possession?
He's been with me for like about 2 years, over 2 years.
All right. Were at the time that Blake was born, were you and Miss Clegg living together?
Yes, we was.
And y'all separated about 2 years ago?
Something like that, yes, sir.
And then you moved to Louisiana as soon as y'all separated?
Yes, sir. Can I speak?
Hold on. You just answer my questions at first, okay, Mr. Smith?
Okay.
Let me get some background in here and then we'll get to it.
Okay.
So you moved to Louisiana right after you separated from Miss Clegg?
Yes, sir.
And you took Blake with you?
Yes, sir.
Did Miss Clegg know you were taking Blake?
No, sir.
All right. So you didn't tell her that you were going to uproot and move the child Blake to Louisiana?
No, sir.
You think that was the right thing to do?
No, sir.
I don't either. When was the last time Blake saw her mother?
About 2 years.
So you essentially kept this child from her mother for 2 years?
Yes, sir.
You know that's a crime, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else from the state?
No, sir.
Miss Swallow, would you unmute, please?
Yes, sir.
Turn your camera on, please. Harry Swallow, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You put your hand down. Miss Swallow, in Orange County, I do not have the ability to access calculators due to the limited Wi-Fi that I have here. Would you plug these numbers into your calculator for me?
Yes, sir.
According to Mr. Smith's testimony, he makes about $2,773 a month. I believe the last time I checked, his state income tax on that amount would be 3%.
Okay. 8319.
8319.
Yes, sir.
Would you tell me what the net income on that is after?
Yes, sir. And what about the medical?
Oh yeah, let me figure that out. Hold on. Do 80 a month on the medical.
With one other child.
One other child. He does have the dependent.
It comes to $417.92.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, I got one more question for you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Why did you think it was a good idea to take Blake to Louisiana without Miss Clegg knowing about it? Why did you think that was a good idea when you did it?
Okay. Okay, can I explain why it happened?
Yeah, I just want to know what your thinking was. Why did you think it was in Blake's best interest to uproot her from Texas and move to Louisiana without telling Miss Clegg?
Because really and truly, I just didn't walk out and leave, sir.
Okay.
She came home and she locked us out. I locked on the door. She let me in. I even called the sheriff department. I talked to the sheriff department and I told them what was going on, what happened, and I explained to them everything. I said, look, I live in Louisiana. That's where I'm from.
Right.
I said, can I take my child with me? He says, is that your child? I said, yes, sir. Or you're on the birth certificate? I said, yes, sir. He said, you go ahead and take your child with you. I said, you sure? I don't want to get in trouble with the law for nothing. I'm just checking with y'all.
Okay.
He said, yes, sir. He said, it's your child. You're good.
But
That's
Miss
why I did
Clegg,
what I did.
okay. So, but Miss Clegg wasn't there when you did that.
She was home. She locked us out of the house, out of the apartment.
So you had Blake with you, and you and Blake were locked out of the apartment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you just turned around and got in your truck and left Louisiana.
I knocked on the door, like I said, and then it was locked. I called the law. I even asked the law to come in to get my clothes, and the law says, best thing to do is just go buy you some new clothes for you and your child. So that's what I did.
Okay.
They would not let go with me.
Hold on, Miss Clegg. Hold on, Miss Clegg. I'm not talking to you yet, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
All right.
But like I said, I even called the law, and I tried to get them to go to get my clothes out of the apartment and stuff. They said, best thing to do is just buy some new clothes and go. That way there would be no trouble or nothing like that.
All right. Miss Clegg, did you lock him out of the apartment?
I did lock the door, but he was right there, and he knocked on it. I opened the door, and we argued, and then he came in, and I left because I went to Market Basket. When I came back from Market Basket, both of them were gone, and the law never showed up at my house. He did try to file charges on me, and the cop said, has Mr. Smith been back to this house to get any of his belongings? I said, no, sir. He said, well, we're not going to go through with these charges because he abandoned his property. Okay. And there's documents. You can find it from the sheriff's office.
Hey, y'all, listen to me real careful. I could give a damn about his clothes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Say it again for the people in the back, Judge. Say it again.
We're not going to go through with these charges. You can find it from the sheriff's office.
Hey, y'all, listen to me real careful. I could give a damn about his clothes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I don't care. I don't care about his clothes. I don't care what the police told y'all.
Okay, but they never were at my house. And he just left because he called my sister and them and told them that
I'm not, Miss Clegg, it's okay. It's all right. That's all I needed to hear. Anything further from the state?
No, sir.
Before we find the court's jurisdiction, I've already found that Mr. Smith is the biological father of the child. I will change the last name, the name of the child's last name to Smith. I'm going to order that Miss Clegg will be the sole managed conservator, and Mr. Smith will be a possessory conservator. Mr. Smith will have visitation of the child, but it's going to be a phased-in visitation schedule with 12 visits at each phase. The child is never to be removed from the state of Texas.
He didn't really leave a lot of room for wiggling there. He sounds extremely serious. We were sort of debating earlier if that meant never to leave the state of Texas forever, like a vacation, or visiting dad in Louisiana. I have a funny feeling that's what's happening. This has been a crazy case. I've got a few more from Judge Webster coming up after this, but this one is nuts.
Is that clear enough, Ms. Simone?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, in regards to the child support and medical support, Ms. Clegg will be ordered to maintain the health insurance on the child from this point forward, as she's been doing. Now, Mr. Smith is going to pay child support in the amount of $420 a month plus $80 a month in cash medical. I will grant 17 months of retroactive child support, the amount of $7,140. Mr. Smith will pay that back at a rate of $50 a month each and every month until that's paid in full. All payments beginning June the 1st, 2023. Mr. Smith will be responsible for court costs, but I will give him until November the 30th of 2023 to pay my court costs. Ms. Simone, did the state of Texas hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right. Ms. Clegg and Mr. Smith, what's going to happen now is Ms. Simone's going to send me a proposed court order. As long as it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it and get it back to them, and they're going to make a copy of it and send it to each of you. Ms. Clegg, do you have any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Y'all are both free to go. I thank you for being here today, and thank you for your patience.
You're welcome for your patience, Judge. I've got some more of your lovely stuff just coming right up for us. Just give me one moment, please. For any of you new here, Judge Webster is in Texas and he roams what I believe is East Texas, finding all these court cases for us. Oh my God, you guys, at first I thought this guy had a freaking spider on his head. Holy soly, holy, 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 holy. Oh my God. I think it's a hole in the matrix. I think that's what it actually is, but my God, that scared me.
This court's going to call cause number CV 221-4041. This is in the 273rd District Court of Sabine County, Texas. It's in the interest of Vincent Bulkey. Miss Holly Clifton, would you raise your right hand, please? Miss Clifton, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down.
I believe that Mr. McNulty, the shiny spot on his head is activating the green screen. Oh my God, his polyjuice potion is wearing off.
Mr. McNulty, you handling this case for state?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Do you have any other witnesses besides Miss Clifton?
No other witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, the court's going to find that on September 29, 2022, I signed an order authorizing substituted service on Mr. Daniel Bulkey. The state of Texas then took that authorization and executed a Rule 106 services citation on Mr. Bulkey at the same address that I authorized. Let me find that return. I'm going to find it on April the 4th of 2023. Substituted service was executed on Mr. Bulkey in South Carolina. It has been on file with my court since April the 7th of 2023. So that's been on file for at least 10 days. He has not filed an answer. Is the state ready to go forward with this default on this case?
We are, Your Honor.
All right, let me check and see if you sent him notice of this Zoom hearing. Did you send him notice of this hearing? Because you did not send it to me.
Let me check the file.
Come on, Judge. I know that guy has a hole in his forehead, but let's move it.
We did, Your Honor. We just I think I forgot to email you a copy of his notice. Let me go ahead and get that pulled up here. I just I forwarded the hearing notice, a copy of it, but I also have a copy of it on my screen.
That's okay. You're an officer of the court. Did you send him notice?
Yes, and we did send it to his 130 Thorn, Spartanburg, South Carolina address.
You don't need to put that on.
I have a question if you don't mind.
One second, Ms. Clifton, okay? And then I'll get to your question. All right,
Yes.
I'll find that the state of Texas. When did you send him that notice?
We sent this on May the 5th of 2023.
All right, he's got notice of the hearing. What was your question, Ms. Clifton?
Daniel moved back to Hemp Hill, I want to say around October of this last year. He's no longer in South Carolina.
Have you talked to him?
Well, I let him visit with Vincent. We have a thing going on now. And I did let him know that this was happening, but because I had asked him if he had been served, and he had told me, no, he hadn't. So.
I think you might have another problem too, Mr. McNulty. I think that at the time that you sent me the affidavit for citation, the information that was given to you by the process server was correct. But it does look like according to some other information in the court file, it does look like he may have moved back to the state of Texas. So while I think your citation is good, because I mean, you've got an affidavit from a good valid process server, I think your notice is probably not any good. Do you have a good address for him, Ms. Clifton? And if you do, don't tell me what it is, okay?
Okay, I do.
Okay. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to delay this case again. It's been delayed enough as it is, but I want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. And Ms. Clifton, when I go off the internet, I want to ask if you'll be kind enough to get that information to the AG's office, okay? All right.
Off the internet, Judge. Why would you do that to us? Okay, we got one more hearing for this evening, and I am pulling it up right now. First of all, I know that was like a nothing hearing, but it really wasn't. Sometimes seeing a judge actually review paperwork properly to the point where they say, this isn't cool, this isn't going to fly, this isn't good enough, I appreciate that.
This is in the 273rd District Court of Sabine County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Nikki Sample. Mr. Clayton Sample, I need you to raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air.
My hand is in there.
Clayton Sample, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Miss Lauren Smith, please raise your right hand. Miss Smith, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Miss Wright, you're handling this case for state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The case has been called. You can call your first witness.
Thank you, Judge. I'll go ahead and call Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, I want to read our agreement to you and confirm that you still agree with those, and then we will discuss the visitation issues, okay? The three of us have met and agreed to name the two of you as joint managing conservators. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have also agreed for Mr. Sample to continue to carry health insurance through another source and for him to pay guideline child support of $576 per month starting June 1st, 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And we've also agreed to waive retroactive child support today, and we are no longer asking for a non-disclosure. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all of those terms and you are in agreement with them?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, the one term that we could not agree to today was the visitation. Can you let the court know how visits have gone between Mr. Sample and the child in the past?
Well, they used to see each other, but the last time he had seen her was October 30th because she latched onto me and started crying and did not want to go. And I told him from then on out that he could see her for the day, and he refused to do that.
So when you said October 30th,
the last time he asked to get her, sorry.
That's okay. Do you mean 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And how old is Nikki?
She's 2.5.
Okay.
She was born November 5th.
Has she had visits with Mr. Sample before this one where she was not comfortable going with him?
She started getting uncomfortable the older she got. She had seen him, yes. She had gone with him, but the older she got, the worse she got.
The ones when she was younger, were they some overnight visits or had they been just the short day visits as well?
They were overnight.
And up until this one in October, had the other visits gone pretty well?
Yeah, she would start crying. Like whenever I was packing her bag and stuff, she would kind of figure out what was going on and she would start crying. But that last time was horrible.
So based on that most recent occurrence, you're asking for a phased-in visitation plan, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you feel that those need to start off with some supervised visits?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you have in mind to do the supervision on those visits?
Not me, myself.
What is going on? Is there like a race going on around her? What the heck is going on?
And do you have a public location where y'all could do your visits at?
Yes, ma'am. We could do the Kiwanis Park in Lufkin.
Is that kind of, as far as you know, in the middle between the two of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many visits in each phase? You know, you've got the supervised and then the single 4 hours and those. How many visits in each phase do you think would be in Nikki's best interest?
I think 5 would be in her best interest.
Okay. As far as the visits go, is there any other information that you think the judge needs to know before he makes a ruling on visits?
Other than one time that I told him that she wasn't staying overnight, he threatened to call the cops and come get her himself.
Right, Your Honor, that's all the questions I have for Ms. Smith. I'll pass the witness.
Call your next witness. Right.
I'll call Mr. Sample. Mr. Sample, I'm going to do the same thing with you and go through the agreed terms, okay?
Okay.
We have agreed for the two of you to be named joint managing conservators. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we have agreed for you to continue to carry health and dental insurance through another source, as well as pay guideline child support in the amount of $576 a month starting June 1st, 2023. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And we have agreed to waive retroactive child support today, and we are not asking for a non-disclosure today. Is that correct as well?
That is correct.
Okay. You understand all of those terms and you are still in agreement with them?
I am.
Okay. So then to the visitation schedule, do you feel comfortable agreeing to a phased-in visitation schedule for Nikki?
In the phased in, we're doing 5 at a park in Lufkin for 4 hours. Is it limited to the park in Lufkin, Texas, or can we do something else? Because I don't know what you can do at a park for 4 hours.
Let me rephrase the question to you, Mr. Sample. Are you wanting to agree to a phased-in visitation schedule, or do you feel it should be a standard possession order moving forward?
I will agree to it to make things easier. But that was my only question about the phased in.
Okay, so let me give you a couple of details about that then. The phased-in visitation schedule does start off with supervised visits that occur for 4 hours, and you do a certain number of visits in that phase. Once that is complete, you do 4-hour visits for the same number of visits, but they are unsupervised. Once those are complete, it moves to an 8-hour visit, and then a single overnight, and then it goes into the full weekends and a standard possession order. The supervised visits would occur at Kiwanis Park, and there would be 5 visits in each one of those phases. Are you now in agreement to do a phased-in visitation schedule with those terms?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I believe in the meantime, we have no longer had an issue, and I can prepare that agreed order for the court.
Well, the problem that you have, Ms. Wright, is once you bring it to me, now I got questions.
Okay.
So y'all, I want you both to understand something. Just because the order is going to say that the phases, the short phases, the 4-hour phases, are going to take place in the park, that doesn't mean that y'all can't agree to do something different. Ms. Smith, you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sample, you understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. You answered my question.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys show up at the park and it's pouring down rain and thunder and lightning, you're not gonna be able to do visits at the park. You're gonna have to find some alternative place. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No. I mean, look, guys, I could sit here and I could make a tailor-made visitation schedule specifically for each instance of what might happen. But unfortunately, that visitation schedule will be 400 or 500 pages long, and I don't think we have time to detail every single instance of what could happen on God's green earth that might interrupt that. So you have to both be willing to work together to make any changes that you need to make to the order on the fly based on what the elements are doing, okay? Now, if y'all can do that, if you think that you have the ability to make that kind of an agreement on the fly, then this order will work. But if you're going to hold each other to the absolute letter of my visitation order, then it probably won't work. Okay? See, the wonderful thing about what you guys just agreed to, you agreed to be named as joint managing conservators. What that tells me is that means that you two are going to work together to raise Nikki, even though you're not together as a couple anymore. And one of the things you have to do to prove that you can work together is make minor changes to the visitation schedule based on the elements. Okay? All right.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's it. That's ingrained in the court order already. The state legislature and the judges and the attorneys, they all assume that if we're going to name you as joint managed conservators, that you do have the ability to work together to raise this child, even though you're not together. All right. All right.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Smith, did you hear and understand the agreement that was just placed on the record in my court?
Yes, sir.
Is that your agreement?
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Smith, you want me to approve that agreement? You think that agreement's in Nikki's best interest?
I do.
Mr. Sample, the same question. Did you hear and understand the agreement that was just placed on the record of my court?
Yes, sir.
Do you approve of that agreement?
I do.
Court's going to approve the agreement. Listen, y'all, there has been a break in the contact between the father and the child. I don't anticipate that that's going to happen again in the future. Am I understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. If y'all can't work this stuff out, you need to rush right out and get some attorneys and get back into court and get this squared away, because it's been my experience doing this as long as I have that a child with both parents in their life is much better than a child with only one parent. Okay? All right. They're going to send me the order, y'all. And if it matches what y'all agreed to today on the record in my court, I'm going to sign it, get it back to them. Then they're going to mail a copy of it and send it to each of you. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They said, yes, sir. Well, folks, I appreciate you all being here. I think we want to make a special note for Charles Blake, who may be watching. He may not be watching tonight. He may be resting. We want to send really, really happy thoughts and prayers to Charles. He had a major surgery this week and is recovering, having a little bit of a hard time. So let's send some positive vibes that way. I will be back at it tomorrow with more fun court. We have TPOs, we have lots going on. So, lots and lots and lots. I know Amy is probably going to post something in the chat about Charles. Yes, check out Mayor's Discord, please. Subscribe to That Is the Way I See It, or Tommy V and MI, Time Served, Looking at Legal Stuff, Credence and Mikey, the Bebes. You know who I love. You guys know it, okay? Also, we will be launching a book club soon that I will be reading out loud for. So, looking forward to that. And I hope that you guys all have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. Remember, I love you just for being you. And I'm proud of you. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye.